Hey everyone, I hope you all can see the screen share and the video feed. Can you quickly type plus sign in the chat if you see the screen share presentation and you can hear me? We will wait for a couple of more minutes until the more people will join and we'll start. Okay, let's give it one more minute.
I think we can get started.
Okay, good. So, hello everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to our webinar dedicated to the topic of choosing the right document processing solution for the healthcare organization. This webinar is brought to you by Provectus. We're AI-first consultancy and solution provider. A few notes before we begin. So, if we go through the content of the webinar, we're very welcome you to ask the question within the GoToWebinar question tab. So we will address them during the Q&A panel after the final part of this session today. Also, we will share the webinar recording with you shortly after this event. Okay, let's set our expectation. We'll keep the level of details on a 200 feet within the goal to provide you a strategy moving forward and continue our conversation in more detail after this webinar. So as far as the webinar objective goes, so we will provide you an overview of the market for document processing solution, outline the critical factors of choosing the right document processing solution for your healthcare use case. We will strategize on whether you should look for ready-made solution to purchase or build your custom solution for your own. And wait till the end of the webinar as you can get qualified for Provectus Intelligent Document Processing Solution Discovery Program. Let's move next. Let's quickly go through agenda. Our webinar is grouped into 5 logical blocks. Each of them is a logical continuation of the previous one. As for agenda-wise, we'll start with introduction and setting up the context of this webinar. Then we'll switch the main section of the webinar where we will first go through healthcare use cases for document processing solutions. Then we will review what intelligent document processing really is and what building blocks it encapsulates in. Then, with the clean understanding of the parts of document processing, we will review how to not to get lost of all of this sea of possible solutions that is existing on the market. And finally, we will look how to pick up the right solution for you. Okay, quick introductions. So my name is Iskandar. I'm machine learning solution architect here at Provectus. For the last 5 years, I've been working with Provectus on a variety of different machine learning use cases. And one of my favorite ones, one of my favorite areas is healthcare. Actually, my entire family within the healthcare industry. So my mother is pediatrician, so I'm trying to stick as close to the roots as possible. So Andy, please introduce yourself.
Hi there, I'm Andy Schutz. I'm a partner solutions architect at AWS and a healthcare and life science specialist.
Cool. Thanks. I'm Stepan. I'm Provectus co-founder and CTO. I usually give tech talks, but this time I'm going to support Iskandar and Andy through this webinar. All right. Let me give you a 90 seconds overview of Provectus really quick. We are AI-first consultancy and solutions provider. We are obsessed about generating value from data through artificial intelligence and deploying it to the real world. Provectus provides end-to-end AI solutions for business, and we consult technology executives, machine learning, and data engineering teams on best practices for foundational components like enterprise-grade data and machine learning platforms. Yeah, quick facts. We're headquartered in Silicon Valley. We have about 500 employees worldwide, and we serve clients ranging from cutting-edge startups to Fortune 500 enterprises. Here on the screen, you see some our marquee clients. We're comfortable working with the big enterprises and driving multi-million transformational projects, as well as helping startups, partnering with them from the early stages through all the funding rounds and successful acquisitions or IPOs. As you see, a pretty variety set of clients, including healthcare and life sciences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, we have introduced ourselves. Now, can you tell us about yourself so we can see who is in the room? So it's full time right now. Please tell us your role so we can speak your language. Okay, let me quickly select the poll and I will launch it right now. Okay, we'll give around like 30 to 40 seconds to answer those, and we can move forward with the webinar.
Yeah, tell us if you're a healthcare domain expert or happy to engage with the manager or director levels, titles and positions. Also happy to have software or data engineers or machine learning engineers in the room. However, for us to move forward, it would be great to see who is attending this webinar.
Okay, good. Okay, now I'm closing the poll. As I see, we almost reached all of the attendees voted. Yes, okay. I'm closing the poll and sharing the results. Okay. Oh, we actually have even distribution between management and director roles, software engineering, and data scientists, which is nice to know. Okay. Good. Okay. Let's start with the healthcare use cases. So document processing and healthcare is a long-running couple. So you probably know all of those use cases. So it's clinical notes, medical records, insurance, medical claim parsing, clinical studies, etc. All of them share the same framework of processing the documents. And actually all of them share the same administrative overhead to process data from these documents. So as for main benefits of introducing document processing solution within your workflow is the operational speed and the cost reduction. In our practice, we see from 2 to 8 times cost reduction compared to fully manual processes and 30% plus reduction comparing to the old legacy OCR solutions. Okay, I think I will show you a quick demo on one of the parts of document processing solution, and I think it's going to be a good segue to the next section of our webinar, which is uncovering the entire structure of document processing solutions. Okay, let me pause the presentation real quick, and I will enable next screen. Bear with me. And I actually take this time to just take the breath.
Yeah, while Iskandar is switching the window, an important note, we're not going to discuss details, KPIs, and business ROI of each particular business use case for healthcare, parsing clinical notes, claims adjudication, and others. Although we can help you to discover and prioritize the use case, we expect that you know your business really well and you have already justified and identified a particular project for 2020 roadmap. So in that sense, this webinar is really biased to action and execution rather than an outlining the strategy.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Stefan. So yeah, in general, all of the document processing solutions share one of the components, which is the user interface, which is pretty much straightforward. Each user interface should have some kind of the list of the documents that you processed and the detail page of the document where you can see the extracted information from the document. So here you can see the list of documents, and I want you to like take note on this unverified status, because we will cover it in future sections down the road of this webinar. Okay, let's upload a document, which in our case will be medical invoice, and we will see which information you can extract from this type of document, for example. So for medical invoice, it's usually what is the usual fields? It's the due date, invoice ID, etc. So as you can see, it's pretty much straightforward, and it's really quick to execute this type. Okay, this is one of the parts of document processing solutions, and let me actually move to the next session of our webinar, which is describing entire framework of document processing. Okay, first part of the system is computer vision. It's usually called OCR, but it's outdated term, which stands for optical character recognition. Computer vision, or CV, it's broader term, which includes OCR as one of the parts of one of its components. As far for general goal of OCR is to identify the main entities within the documents. Those main entities will be paragraphs, forms, tables, and images, etc. You name it. And and after you identify those entities, you have to successfully extract the written text within them. So overall, this task can be separated into two: segmentation and OCR. Segmentation, when you locate the tables and the parts of the images, and the OCR, where you can extract the information itself. So next part, next we move to data extraction. So here we're solving the context search problem. So we're trying to extract knowledge from semi-structured data we get from the previous computer vision step. So we take the semi-structured data from the OCR step. We give it a query, for example, patient diagnosis or something like this, and we form the structured answers out of them, and we pass it to down through the system. Okay, next step. Next step is evaluation, which is somehow missed in a lot of use cases, and which is super strange. Machines are really good in reducing processing time of repeatable operations, right? But humans are really great in a much more complex tasks like context search or data extraction. So solution here is to build like a hybrid system. On top of that, we always have to have a verification mechanism for any mechanical system, especially in highly regulated areas like healthcare. So by this hybrid approach and verification, I mean we need to pass low confidence score documents from the algorithmic steps to human experts. And also on top of that, we should sample successfully fetched information from documents for human experts to verify also, because we constantly need to verify the behavior of the machines. Even if your algorithm says that it's working like 100% correctly all of the time, which is it cannot be true. It needs to be always monitored and verified by human experts. Okay, next step is the storage. Storage is another topic which is often missed in document processing solutions. Moreover, requirements for storage for healthcare industry is different in a good way. So yes, we have the same like data lake, right? Relational databases, NoSQL databases, object storages, etc. But alongside with all of these types of storage, we have to blend ontology specification into the mix. So ontology specification is a standard describing data formats for exchanging the records and information. But what it essentially means, all of your data should be annotated in a specific format. And think of it as a knowledge graph. So to be discoverable by machines, this data should be annotated. And actually, in the healthcare industry, we already have this format. It's called FHIR. Next part of document processing solution is automation, which is not surprise, right? Automation is a glue of all components, that all of the pieces for document processing solution to build it as in one single product. So automation encapsulates data capture, model or algorithm lifecycle, like labeling, training, evaluation, human in the loop, aka human experts, integration, and system monitoring. So, as a takeaway, I want to just stress out that document processing solutions are not just OCR. So to resolve this problem in-house, you need to take care of data capture, data ingestion, pre-processing, OCR, NLP, data extraction, evaluation, and actually a lot, much more. So as far as for the bottlenecks for entire system, right now, algorithmic-wise, there are two bottlenecks for document processing. There are tables and unstructured text. We are solving a lot of problems really good with machinery, right? But right now, for artificial intelligence and machine learning, it is hard to extract information from tables and unstructured texts. Right now, the state-of-the-art solution are neural network-based architectures, but it's like entirely different topics to discuss, entirely separate topic. Okay, now let's move to the next section of, quick check. If I'm going too fast, please let me know in a chat window. As far as time-wise, we're in a good place right now. So let's move to another section of our webinar, which is solution landscape. Here we will give you an overview of the market of the possible solutions for the intelligent document processing. Okay, now I think is a good time for the second poll. Let me ask you one more question. So I'm curious to know, what stage are you on your journey right now? Let me quickly pull up the next poll. Okay, so what are you doing right now? So you're researching for available solutions on the market, or you're evaluating a couple of vendors that you came up with, or implementing a solution by your own, or scaling beyond the one use case that you already have? Well, you're really fast in voting right now. It's like it's only 15 seconds and already 70% have voted, which is really good. Thank you for active participation. Okay, I will give it a couple of more seconds. And yeah, okay, closing the poll and sharing the results. Okay, researching for available solution is a leader of our poll, and implementing your own solution is the second. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so cool. This webinar is exactly for you. Thanks for coming. Let's move through the content then.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a perfect fit. Okay. Let's talk about competitive landscape of document processing. So the documents are everywhere, right? For healthcare, it's clinical records, lab reports, medical charts, as we discussed before. So for insurance, it's a claims, etc. For different areas, it's the different types of solutions. So documents are everywhere, and solutions are also everywhere. So you might not know, but there are over more than 200 different vendors for document processing solution. So as you mentioned, it's super easy to get lost in this variety of options. A good ways to start to refer to something like a Gartner quadrants or Forrester waves. They're really good in giving you a glance on the market from higher up. But in 90% of the use cases, you have to double click on specific areas for your use case, as the leaders of those reports might not necessarily be the good fit for your specific use case. So let's dive deeper into the segments of the market, and we can, yeah. So first market segment is the big cloud vendors. You know all of them. So they're technological giants. They provide general purpose components for document processing. So AWS has a Textron, Comprehend, Google has Document AI, Microsoft has Form Recognizer. So working with this type of solution has its own pros and cons as usual. So as for pros, as far as pros goes, so those technological giants has great cloud infrastructure. They have integration through entire their offering suite. So they have long lifespan and support and constant development. For disadvantages, which is kind of stretch because it might be an advantage, those solutions are general purpose. So it means you have to do additional work to make them work for your specific use case in some cases, but it's not always true. Okay, next big segment of the market is the startups. So it's a younger group of up-and-coming vendors who are building the solution based on AI native platforms. So generally, startups can handle documents in much more complex ways and have a greater variation. But yeah, as far as the advantages goes, so they have more modern stack, constant development, more focused niche applications, and support, right? Because as a new upcoming startup, you have to show that your product has a great support. So as far as cons goes, only a few startups can survive on this highly competitive market of document processing solutions. So some of them might not survive the challenge. Some solutions are challenging to customize. So solutions might not be aligned with your cloud strategy and support, right? Support in a cons too here, because not all of the startups has good flow and good workflow of the support in their companies. So and the third segment, which is basically composition of a couple of subsegments, which is first one is legacy vendors. They are typically building document processing solutions on top of legacy platform that they already have and been using for a number of years. Niche vendors, which is focused on limited document types or use cases, and vendors that do complete restructure of your document workflows. So they not necessarily do document processing in terms of do computer vision and NLP tasks. They usually restructure your whole document workflow by switching to specific document templates. So as pros, wide variety of integrations, niche use cases, and large portfolio of clients that they built throughout the years. As far the for the disadvantages, sometimes technology is outdated and less performant, and in a workflow restructure, it will require you a lot of time to do a lot of work. Okay, and the last segment, which is kind of hugging all of the segments before, which is system integrators. So it's pretty much what it sounds like. Integrator help you to glue the different pieces of the document processing solution together. System integrators might offer document processing solution as part of their portfolio of offerings. Their solution might be taken from another vendor or developed in-house. So, and now I think it's a good time for me to give a mic to Andy, and as he will show the AWS vision of document processing. Yeah. Andy, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. At AWS, we're innovating on behalf of our customers to deliver the broadest and deepest set of machine learning capabilities for builders of all experience levels. And at each layer of the stack, we're investing in removing the undifferentiated heavy lifting so that your teams can move faster. At the top level, We have our AI services, which allow developers to easily add intelligence to applications without needing ML skills. With these services, pre-trained models provide ready-made intelligence so that your applications can do things like extract meaning from documents and more. At the middle level, we have Amazon SageMaker, which provides every developer and data scientist with the ability to build, train, and deploy machine learning models at scale. It removes complexity from machine learning workflows and allows customers to achieve up to 10x times improvement in data scientist productivity. And at the bottom layer, expert practitioners can develop on the frameworks of their choice using a managed experience in Amazon SageMaker or the AWS Deep Learning AMIs, or Amazon Machine Images, which are fully configured with the latest versions of the most popular deep learning frameworks. Could I have the next slide? So Amazon HealthLake is the newest addition to a suite of AWS machine learning purpose-built HIPAA-eligible services. That suite includes Amazon Comprehend Medical for extracting information from unstructured medical text, and Amazon Transcribe Medical for automatically converting medical text to medical speech to text. Together, these services help to improve care by unlocking the potential of health data. Could I have the next slide? So health data is highly contextual and it arrives in different formats such as lab results, medical claims, and health data is notorious for being messy, incomplete, and inconsistent. And it's often stored on premises in legacy systems. Health data is also temporal and the context is important for clinical decision-making. Historically, it can take weeks or months to go through individual health records and manually identify and extract key clinical information like diagnoses, medications, or procedures from data sources like notes, documents, and images. And extracting this data tends to require highly specialized teams, which has made it a heavy lift for most customers. Emerging standards like FHIR help describe the data through common formats, but you still need technology to automate and make that data usable and scalable for your workloads. These challenges with data, infrastructure, and formats grow in scale and complexity as your health data grows. You want all this data to come together in an organized way that empowers downstream use cases. Could I have the next slide? So introducing Amazon HealthLake, a HIPAA-eligible service that enables healthcare providers, insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies to store, transform, query, and analyze health data at petabyte scale. It allows healthcare and life science customers to easily import, aggregate, and analyze disparate health information from across various silos, formats, and place it all in a centralized AWS data store. It then transforms and structures all your health information using specialized ML models so you can query and search the data. Next slide. So let's explore some of the key benefits of HealthLake. First, HealthLake transforms data seamlessly. It automatically extracts meaningful medical information from raw, disparate data such as prescriptions, procedures, diagnoses, simplifying a process that traditionally was manual, error-prone, and costly. Second, HealthLake presents a chronological order of medical events so you can look at trends like disease progression over time, giving healthcare organizations new tools to improve care and intervene earlier. Organizations can also build machine learning models using Amazon SageMaker to unlock novel insights, find patterns, and identify anomalies. And third, HealthLake supports interoperable standards like FHIR. Interoperability ensures that health data is shared in a consistent, compatible format across multiple applications. Could I have the next slide? HealthLake uses specialized machine learning models like natural language processing to tag, index, and structure health data. Integrated medical natural language processing, or NLP, has been trained to understand and extract meaningful information from unstructured health data like notes. You can automatically extract entities like medical procedures or medications and entity relationships like medication and its dose, or entity traits like a positive or negative test result. And you can also detect protected health information from within medical text. Next slide. In addition, associated medical codes like RX norm for medication and brand name and ICD-10 codes for billing are linked to concepts extracted from unstructured data. Next slide. So putting it all together, what you see on the left is structured data extracted from some legacy data source. And on the right, you have additional data points that are extracted using the NLP models. And together you get a more comprehensive view of a given patient record than you would without HealthLake. Next slide. So HealthLake supports interoperable standards like FHIR via4. Interoperability ensures that health data is shared in consistent, compatible format, and FHIR facilitates the exchange of information across multiple applications and organizations. HealthLake also supports FHIR query operations of create, update, and delete, and they follow the FHIR standard specification. So bringing it all together, you see here the full view that HealthLake ingests, structures, and analyzes data to unlock new insights. HealthLake uses tools like natural language processing and medical comprehension to transform data. And now that the data is structured, indexed, and normalized, it's immensely more useful. With HealthLake, you can bring together hundreds of millions of data points and paint a much more complete picture of a population. And with powerful query and search capabilities, you can rapidly identify patient subgroups of interest. You can use tools like Amazon QuickSight to create interactive dashboards to better understand your data or identify anomalies. And you can build Jupyter notebooks in Amazon SageMaker to develop advanced analytics. Information that was locked away in unstructured data is now structured, easily read, and searched. So you can start answering the more important questions about patients and the quality of their care. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Iskender.
Great, thank you so much, Andy. So we've just learned how AWS HealthLake, SageMaker, TextRact, and Comprehend Medical could be used to build end-to-end solution. Although AWS is one of the leader on the market, as we know, there are more than 200 different vendors offering similar capabilities, at least based on the vendors' marketing websites. So the next section is dedicated to evaluation, who is better, who is more fits better for your use case. How would you move from high-level Gartner-style PowerPoint-based comparison into real metrics-based evaluation that compares apples to apples? How would you make a decision between building versus buying versus hybrid approach when you buy components, or you can use the components and then integrate it and customize it by your own? As a reminder, we have cloud vendors, independent startups, niche legacy vendors, as well as system integrators.
Yeah. So as Stefan just told us, you need to fairly compare each of those solutions and choose the right fit for your use case. And deep evaluation is the key to making this right solution. So I'm introducing you Provectus evaluation methodology, which is unbiased benchmarking tool for evaluation of intelligent document processing solutions. So some vendors can demonstrate better quality in processing lab reports. Others are doing well with the handwritten notes within the clinical records. And we need to consider all of those different use cases when we're developing our methodology to easier the way of choosing the best solution. So steps here are pretty simple. So define your data set, define metrics, evaluate, rank, and pick the best, or review the whole cycle again. So any metric should be based on a specific data set, right? So it's extremely important not only know which metrics to use, but also the data that they are used on. So let's talk about the EDA, which stands for exploratory data analysis. EDA is the must. You should know what data you are working with. It should include the type of document, handwritten or written or like type text, images, what document, how the document was scanned, it was done professionally, or it was using the cell phones, or etc. So based on EDA, you pick the evaluation data set, which should be representative example of the data you have to make a fair assumption on a metrics later on. So once you have your evaluation data set, you pick the metrics to measure. So here you have your standard accuracy, recall, precision, F1 scores. Metrics might be standard, but the use case for them might vary from case to case. So in some cases, you're interested in how well solution is extracting key value pairs or table data or language specific data or handwritten text, etc. So we've talked about the data sets and metrics. Now let's talk about evaluation and ranking now. We're introducing you the concept of composite index here. It's not new concept, but we will reuse it as a base for our ranking solution. So composite index is a statistical tool that group together many different equities, securities, and indexes to create a representation of sector performance. In our case, we'll reuse this definition in a little bit different way. In our case, we will use specific metrics instead of securities and equities and indexes, and we will rank document processing solution instead of markets or sectors. So we compose our solution index out of numerous indices. For example, text index, right? So here we will see how vendors are good in correct text recognition, correct text extraction, spelling mistakes, etc. Another one can be handwritten index, which shows how well solution is doing with handwritten text, which is extremely important in healthcare. Form index will show how well solution recognizing key value pairs. Okay, price index speaks for itself. And okay, let's actually click on any of these sub-indices. Okay, let's review simple one, which is text index, right? Each index might have multiple sub-indexes. For example, text index has, on this example, 2 sub-indexes, which is character recognition, which stands for accuracy of character recognitions. And the second one is language coverage, because it depends on your use case. You might have different languages, not only English. And so it's also worth considering when you're creating the text index. Okay, let's actually move to another one, which is more specific index for you to consider. We've called this index Robustness index. What it's essentially doing, it's actually measuring how well the solution is handling different edge case situation, which is extremely important. Like large spaces between key value pairs. For example, in your patient records, your patient key might be at the beginning of the document and the name can be anywhere else. And the automated document processing solution might not recognize this very crucial information of patient name. Another example of this is noise index, which is shows you how document processing solutions are handling different types of noises, which can be introduced by poor scan of the image or the age of the document itself. Okay. So we've discussed the methodology of evaluating solutions. Now, why do we need this? And to answer this, I want to bring you a quick case study of one of our clients and TCO analysis. TCO stands for total cost of ownership, which is AKA means how much money you will pay for the solution. So in general, TCO structures contains infrastructure cost, which is data pipeline, storage, control plane, etc. Cost of the algorithm and machine learning, which is computer vision, NLP, and others. Human in the loop, which is human experts. R&D costs if you are building the solution or algorithms itself in-house, and of course support. So, so TCO target for end-to-end solution on the market will end up around 20-30 cents per document for a simple use cases and 50+ cents more for more complex documents. So for one of our clients, we were doing this evaluation methods, and on the right side of the screen you can see a graph where we just plotted price versus the performance, and where performance is this composite index that we were mentioning before. So as you can see, for this given use case, most expensive solution delivered the worst result, and second to the best solution, which is this one, demonstrated, and second to the best solution was demonstrated by vendor who was the second cheapest option to consider, which is surprise. And as the result of this exercise, the cost of processing the documents was reduced from 24 cents to 11 cents, because we were choosing the right computer vision and OCR vendor, which saves almost 10 cents for us. And also we use serverless architecture to reduce the cost of infrastructure here.
Yeah, that's quite important, because at the end of the day, this is the operational excellence use case, and you will be looking to reduce your price. And that's as far as the market is being commoditized, everybody is competing for the price. And there is always a way to push the limits and combine different vendors, solutions with the in-house workarounds, and maybe kind of custom models overfitting to your use case in some cases, and maybe some heuristic rules. So this is the way for us to push the limits and decrease the cost as much as possible. Let's move forward. This is so we would like to give you the next practical step for you to get started. Provectus has designed a special program to help you choose the best vendor and solution for your document processing use case. Here's how the program works. You provide a business use case and access to your data sets, as well as executive sponsorship, of course, to support the engagement. So we explore your data set and run it through the unbiased benchmarking tool against different OCR and intelligent document processing vendors. As a result, we will determine the most cost-efficient solution with the highest quality for your healthcare use case. That's as simple as you see on the screen. The offering is available for a limited number of customers and is fully funded engagement. So please dedicate your time, not money. Share with us your boldest goals. And yeah, apply now so we can help you to get qualified for the program. Please pay attention. We're sending a link to apply for the program in the GoToWebinar chat window. So even if you're in a stage of building a solution or integrating your existing solution into the business, it's always good to evaluate it if there is something else to consider. So whatever stage you are, I believe that's a good way to assess yourself and assess your choice that you've made or you're gonna make at the end of the day. As a takeaway, if you can move to the next slide, please. Just to summarize, ecosystem matters, and even based on the Iskandar's talk, Andy's talk, there are so many moving parts you have to consider, and the nice integration with built-in industry-specific components, data pipelines, OCR engines, NLP models, security, storage, and human-in-the-loop workflows. This is the key. The second takeaway is it is recommended to use, obviously, to use unbiased benchmarking framework for evaluating real performance of different providers based on the use case and data sets, because at the end of the day, numbers is something that matters. And as a North Star, we can give you in terms of the pricing. You can expect from 2 to 8x cost reduction comparing to fully manual workflows, 30% reduction of the cost comparing to the legacy OCR solution. This is what we see in general, working with our clients and talking to our partners. And we can also we have use cases. We can push the limits even for the modern tech using the state-of-the-art machine learning models and overfitting it for the specific use case. We can push even the limits of the modern cloud solutions up to the 10% and even more. That's it for the content. Happy to answer questions.
Yeah, and we're like exact at the time. Okay, we're 4 minutes late, but it's okay, I guess.
All right, so there is a okay, one is okay, let me feel free to post your questions in the GoToWebinar questions tab. Happy to answer. There are a few notes from one, but I don't think it's those are the questions.
Skandar, oh, sorry. You briefly mentioned serverless, and that seems like something maybe you could expand on a little bit, because it would allow people to just pay for what they use and scale.
Exactly. So one of the benefits of using the serverless architecture is to reduce the infrastructure cost of the running entire system. So yes, we covered that one of the crucial part of the system is the actual algorithms, which is fetching information from the data, but you still have like wrapper around that as an infrastructure. So you have the services, which is support, which is doing the piping between all of the data flow, etc. So if you consider to move from your regular systems to the serverless, you will see the dramatic reducing of the costs on the infrastructure, because you, as Andy just mentioned, you actually pay for what you use. So you will not pay for the just hosting system, which are just standing over there in the cloud. So it's easier to use. And moreover, for example, AWS offers I think it's up to 1 million invocation of the Lambda servers are for free. So basically, if you have like not enormously amount document workflow, going with AWS serverless infrastructure will be a good fit for you, because it's really basically infrastructure for free.
And what's great when you come back, if your business is growing 10x a year or 20x a year, you don't have to revisit this architecture. What
Exactly.
you've established through the process that Stepan just described is going to work at almost any scale in the future.
Exactly. Yeah, if you can go back, Iskandar, to the architecture piece of or the a couple of AWS slides, so we can point to the parts of the system that could be serverless. And this is actually the broader question, like build versus buy, and the ability to customize, ability to deploy your own machine learning models versus having the SaaS type of the solution, which is always the choice you're gonna make. So as a builders, we always tend to choose the frameworks and the components to build from. However, as a business and evaluating all the pros and cons and total cost of ownership, There might be the case that for your organization, you would the better choice is going to be just a standalone SaaS vendor. So there are many considerations about that. So security, one of them. Would you trust your uploading your documents with the PII data into the third-party vendor or not? Usually, obviously, for the highly regulated industries, we recommend securing and protecting your data in your VPC. So it's going to be your private cloud with all the security best practices incorporated. Yeah, so as we mentioned before, there's so many dimensions for you to choose the right solutions, and not obviously the cost and quality are one of them. However, there are more strategic dimensions like your cloud strategy in general. Maybe you have just one cloud that you can you stick with, and you should continue using this, and others dimensions that we usually discuss with you on a pre-qualifications and assessment stage.
Okay, I think we're near the wrap up of near the time limits of our webinar.
The question from Kenneth, who would I contact to discuss our specific healthcare situation? Also would want to discuss the price ranges. So I think you can use the link in the GoToWebinar window, so we can apply. There is a straightforward form. Happy to chat. Also, you see our names. We can. We're happy to reach out to you personally, or we're all happy to chat in LinkedIn and other social networks. So
yeah, and all of the presentation will be available for you. So all of the links will be in the presentation, all of the contact information, links to the program, link to our LinkedIn profiles, etc.
Yeah, and obviously the webinar recording is going to be shared with all of you guys. So in case you missed that. Anyway, thank you so much for participating. Thanks, Andy. Really appreciate your input and the content. Looking forward to see you guys on the next webinars hosted by Provectus and AWS.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.